Hello. We have Starsand working again, I believe. So today is a good day, regardless to anything else. I think we actually might get to play this game consistently on stream. That makes me so happy. And we have a festival today. Now I don't know how this works, but you guys are gonna see me attempt to do this festival. I I think I might need things, but I did spend all day yesterday collecting materials. So we should be fine. We should be fine. Hopefully, we have everything we need. It looks kind of fun though. It looks kind of fun. It looks a little bit complicated, but a little bit fun. And I don't know if we're gonna have enough time today to do the festival, like the whole thing, and then do autumn together. Which I do kind of wish that we did, because after the festival, it's literally gonna turn into autumn. So we might kind of speed run it a little bit. I mean, I'm assuming it's something that happens yearly. So even like when I get to summer again, I could just do it properly again. But not speed run it in a sense of ignore everything. There's one thing I'm not doing, and it's the crab game thing, because I've seen someone else do that. It looked stressful. So we're not gonna do that. But we're going to try and do all of the festival stuff, and then maybe just try and get into day one of autumn and see if like the game looks any different. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm an autumn person. We already know this. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. But hopefully, hopefully it looks cute. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I am a little bit disappointed that we only have one festival and it's in the summer. I'm hoping once the game is in full release, we have more. I don't know if they've actually spoken about it or not, so I could be wrong, but I haven't seen anything. I'm hoping for like an autumnal festival of some kind and then like a winter one. A spring one would be cute too, but I don't know what they would do. I don't know. The first thing you do. Hi to you too. Before you even send a message. Love that. Thank you. Stop the yapping and drink some water. Hello. Um, you're gonna see me make a little bit of a fool of myself with these beach activities. So, don't even know what high means anymore. To be honest, I don't even like introductions anyway. It's fine. Just jump straight in. It's fine. um, I'm just happy that this game is working the way it should be. Um, my RAM is currently only on like 80% usage, so that makes me super happy. Um, yeah, I think we have 3 days in the game that do the beach festival. I thought it was one day where the beach festival shows up, but it's over like a course of 3 days. When I go into the game, I have 20 minutes. I only have 20 minutes to start the quest, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. I don't know what the point in that is, but I have 20 minutes, like IRL time, to go and start this quest for the beach festival, and then it's a 3-day event. So I don't know what it really entails. I've kind of skipped people's streams that have been playing it because I don't want to spoil it too much. But why have you got a ram in your house for? Show me see what's. You know, you ever become a dad? The jokes are just gonna get worse. But like, I'm here for it. I love that. In seriousness, though, the RAM's okay. So I'm not touching RAM. We're not buying RAM. Not yet. Okay. If by some extreme miracle by the end of April, RAM prices go down, I might consider it. I may consider it. Because then I'll have the money to buy it. Right now, for me to buy what I want for this PC, it's literally going to be like at least £75, and I'm not Because then I gotta like pack the PC up. I gotta take it to the other side of my town, pay someone to take all that stuff out and put new RAM in it. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to. So we're not doing anything. Okay. Just not. In fact, what I might do is put the next payout. The next payout I will probably put towards something for the PC, even if it's not the RAM. I don't know. I'll probably put it. I should probably just start saving any payout I get from Twitch to put towards the PC. You shouldn't have bought a RAM in the first place. It's hard to get anyway all the time. No thanks. Can you actually imagine? Have you actually seen people who have like farm animals, but they stay in their house because of like they're having to like rehabilitate. What's the word? Like trying to help it, like nurse it and stuff, right? And they have like sheep, like goats. The goats are the funniest ones. There's someone that has a goat and it's lived with dogs for so long that it thinks it's a dog. Honestly, like I'm down for it. I think that sounds great. I'm not gonna lie, I think you might want to put like the ceramics and stuff away because they'll probably break, but like other than that, it sounds kind of fun. Like some dogs are probably worse than like, I mean, how big are rams really? There's probably dogs bigger. There's probably dogs bigger than that. Like, have you seen an Irish Wolfhound? They're basically a horse. And they're cute. So why not? I'd have a ram. I think they're a little bit too aggressive, but like, you know what? Oh well. Talking about weird animals. I am definitely skipping some of the stuff on this festival because I watched Let's Play K and she was doing a festival and I like kind of skipped through it because I was like, I'm not gonna ruin it. But she did the beach festival and the crab game. You have to like make the crabs on the beach go into like a square. They don't go into the square for reference. It's like really difficult. We're not doing it. You're definitely hamster guilt now. I'm just not. I love animals, but I don't think I could own one. I don't think I could be a pet mum because I can barely look after myself. And hamsters can live a long time if they're looked after properly. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that responsibility. I can't even look after my animals in games, never mind in real life. If I could, I would have like 5 dogs and cats by now. Trust me. I could imagine with a hamster running its little wheel. I couldn't. I have like, do you know how much room you actually need to give a hamster? So many people think like, oh, hamsters are like the easiest thing. Let me get that as my kid's first pet. Don't do it. If you're not going to do it right, you need like, that hamster needs like a gigantic home, okay? Otherwise, you're not looking after it correctly. You will never see me with a hamster. They're adorable though. We did go see some the other day when we were out. They were so cute. Although I love rats. My mum's not like a big fan of that. Every time I say this, she's like, but I promise I've seen people with rats that are so cute. They seem like the most loving little thing ever. And people just like don't like them. People just don't like rats. Why do we not like rats? Like, the rats get the problem. Everyone thinks the rats are a problem. Rats are adorable, okay? Not the ones that are like carrying the diseases. I'm talking about like the pets, okay? They can be a pet. You don't just take it from the street. But rats as pets, they're so loving. They're so loving. They look so cute. Enough on the rats. Let me get the game up. Let me get the game up and then we'll see that it's running okay. I need to turn the volume down because I think I have... Oh no, it's still on the right one. Okay. So we don't have much time. We need to go and do this. Oh, we have mail. Okay. I'm sure you've already felt the joyful atmosphere of the upcoming beach festival. Have I? In honor of the Sea Maiden's legend, my reading is like, not with it, guys. I've specifically hidden some festival-inclusive treasure chests on the beach. Game hates me. I suck at these treasure chests. I can't follow directions, like, at all. So this is gonna be fun. Oh, wise brave one. From the 25th to the 27th, please head to the beach to obtain a treasure map, unveil its wonderful mysteries, and win the hero's treasure chest. Okay. You guys ready? We're gonna go and do this in like 20 minutes. Let's go. We're going to the beach. Also, I have unlocked the, like, rollerblades, but I have just, like, genuinely decided not to use them because they're annoying. I know skateboards are a little bit annoying, but the rollerblades are so much worse. So much worse. I'm not using them. Oh, look at all this. This is cute. Hi. What brings you here? Oh, any update on Paul? Paul? I haven't seen in a little while. Maybe we can try and find him today. Because he's not my animal. He's a rented animal. We can go find him again, though. What brings you here? I'm setting up the party stage. After building this myself, I learned just how much sweat goes into those lovely stages I took for granted. Oh, sorry, I just got a message about something. The construction crew is amazing, but when I think about everyone singing, dancing, smiling on the stage, I get motivated again. When it's done, you have to be the first one to see it. I bet you've already seen a letter about the beach festival, right? I have. Simply put, to thank the Sea Maiden for her protection on the ocean for its bounty, everyone holds a special beach festival. I'm so sorry about the reading. I don't know what's going on. It's the 27th of the month, and there will be tons of fun activities. Except for the crabs, because we're not doing anything. I'm not doing the crab stuff. It looks ridiculous. Everyone's busy preparing for the festival right now, and it'd be such a big help if you could lend a hand. What do we have to do? You're the best. I didn't even say I would do it. I did not even say I would do it. As for me, the mayor's assistant, I'm in charge of overseeing the campfire party stage. Compared to the old wood fires, today's campfire party is a real upgrade, more like a super party mixing a music festival and a meetup. I just checked the materials and noticed the stage still needs some building supplies and reinforcement facilities. Can you help me find some range reinforcement? Oh, one more thing. While everyone's busy getting ready for the festival, some trash has piled up. So I'd like to ask you to help clean it up. Of course you would. Come to think of it, Zephyr? Is that what we decided to call him? Once mentioned hiding a bunch of treasure maps on the beach. I wonder where they are. If I wasn't so busy, I'd love to try on treasure hunt too. Oh, I don't want to do the treasure hunt. Oh, we don't have like... Oh, we still have a timer on. You gotta be kidding. Irresponsible, shaking my head. Look, when we can start breeding animals, I will breed a Paul 2.0, okay? What do you think about the track I designed? There are more and more tourists in the beach festival every year, so I had Zareen help upgrade the track safety system. Fun is important, but safety comes first. Let's build a great race. You made it. How's the beach festival vibe treating you? In the old days, people prayed the Sea Maiden for good weather and a bountiful catch, thanking her for their safety. Now the festival's grown into a lively, most branded event. The community centre turned the old departure of 1,000 boats tradition into an offshore race, and I'm in charge of setting up the track. Want to lend a hand? Sure. The event's in 2 days, and I'm still short materials. Can you help me out? Alright, help me get some iron ingots while I organise things. I have those. Don't you even worry, I already have them. About the quest. Here you go. I already have them. I spent all day yesterday doing this. I'm a pro, okay? Who's next? Oh, we have to get these. And there's one over here. Okay. We don't have very long to do this. This is very stressful. I don't actually know why we only have so much time. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Momo. That's the name, right? Hi there. Can you do me a favor? I want to set up a booth to sell seashell frames I made for the festival. My brother and Bruce offered to help, but I'm a big girl now. I can do it myself. But I was sketching while walking and thinking I lost some glass. Can you help me find more glass? Yes, I can. You're the best, but it's our secret. It's okay, I won't tell anyone. Oh, I don't have any yet. No. Oh, this is like, I'm so stressed. This is supposed to be a cozy game. Why am I stressing? Okay, let's go to you. What do you want? Please ask me for something I have. I'm hoping, like, if you don't have the stuff they want, it doesn't affect the actual festival happening. The mayor asked me to provide food and drinks for this beach festival. It's a great chance to get to know the customers. I've prepared some special dishes. Come try them and give me your thoughts. I'm going over the setup list for the food booth. The second beach festival. He's only lived here 2 years. I thought these people were, like, born there. Did I miss something? My first time running a food booth, it's different from the kitchen work, a whole new routine. I put my own twist on classic island dishes to suit the tastes of visitors from everywhere. I've got sauerkraut fish grilled from Delphine's Catch and seafood porridge. That sounds gross. With Graminova's grades. I prepared a lot. Come try it. I don't want your seafood porridge, thank you. I don't want that. I'm struggling. I don't make much experience filling booths. Can you help me? Can you brag me? Yeah, I have call. No, come back. Where are you going? Where are you going? Why is he running from me? I literally have it here. See, I have loads. Loads. Okay, who's next? Who else needs my help? I'm stressing here. Let's get this done. Are you hungry? Oh, what's she gonna give me? Dragon fruit? Girl, I have so much dragon fruit. Mayor asked me to set up the boutique. It's a sign of trust and a whole new experience for me. I'm not great grabbing supplies, so I didn't prepare enough materials. This isn't gonna go well. I don't think I have what she wants. I'm not too familiar with gathering materials here. Could you help me? I still need about 3 bronze. Oh, that's all she needs? Oh, girl, I have that. I actually have that. I thought she was gonna ask me for, like, fabric. I thought she was gonna ask me for fabric. Like, I don't have fabric, but I have bronze. All good. All good. Now what? Okay, Solara. Wait, where is that person? Where are you? Okay, we need to go back to her. Okay. Come here, girl. I have 18 minutes. I know I've done this all pretty quick, but I'm still panicking a little bit. I need to find some glass. And I don't even know how to get glass. Oh, I've already read this. Okay. Oh, planks. That's all we needed for her. Okay. Perfect. As we help again, let's work together. Okay, so I need to do stuff tomorrow too. And then the third day is like the actual festival. And then I need to help her prepare. Wait, why do I need to speak to her? It's telling me to speak to Serena. Oh, no, it's just because of that. Okay, I don't need to do that. I need to do this. How do I find glass? Wait, how do we find glass? I actually don't know how I find glass. What does glass look like? Glass is made out of sand, right? Like, that's how you make... Is that how you make glass? Wait. Wait. Is it even... Oh, wait. Glass pane. So I need a brick. And to make a brick, I need to do that. Wait, so I don't have that. Oh god. Okay, let's go home. Let's go home, like, super quick. In fact, we need to pick these up. Hang on. I'm supposed to be finding, like, the treasure maps. And I don't know if, like, I have to do the treasure maps in the time. Why'd they make this so stressful? This game's, like, so slow paced. And then they were just like, oh, we're gonna, like, add in a beach festival that takes, like, 20 minutes. And only 20 minutes. Like, you have no more time. That is all your time. Oh, am I gonna be penalized for that? Or, like, what? Like, if I don't do this in enough time. Look at all these people doing nothing. They could be helping. So much rubbish. Oh, wait. I might be able to find glass by doing this, right? No? Is there none? Okay, well, we need to go home. Oh, there's 2 more over here. Okay. Let's get these, go home, get glass, come back, do the chests. And then we should be done. We've got quite a few of them, which is kind of weird. I don't know how many we have, but it looks like a lot. And I'm not very good. I'm not very good with these treasure maps. I seem to have like not understood how to do it to begin with. And I spent like an hour in the forest, in like the mines, trying to figure out how to actually use the maps. And I don't know why it took me so long to like figure it out, but it did. It took me a very long time. Okay, we need... She wants glass, but not like glass... bricks? Does she want glass bricks? Is this what she wants? I think that's what she wanted. Also, we just got all of this, so that's kind of nice. I also upgraded some of these chests because I was running out of space, like, truly. Okay, now all we need to get rid of is this. Which goes... yeah. Wait, I got... oh, wait, we need these. These are the coins. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we got one. It didn't do anything, so I'm gonna let these, like, process and just see. Just see if they actually do anything, because I don't know if this is what she wanted. It said glass, right? I hope it did. We only have 16 minutes. We have, wait. Oh, you can, like, slow walk. I didn't know you could do that. We have 5 treasure maps. Yeah, that's not great. Really not great. I do honestly wish that it would say what they actually need instead of just saying help Momo. It just says help Momo prepare for the beach festival. It doesn't say help Momo by gathering materials. Like, I think she said glass. I'm really hoping that's what she wanted was glass brick. If girls like, I wanted glass panes, I'm gonna be like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do about it? How many do I have now? Do I have enough? I have 7. Okay, we can leave. Yeah, that. Let's go back. Try and find Momo. And then we can do the chests. Now, the chests are only going to be like across the beach anyway. They shouldn't be that difficult. I hope. I hope, but now I'm panicking a little bit. Okay, where's Momo? Is she still painting? I see the painting, but I don't see Momo. She is, okay. Please tell me I did this right. Is this what you wanted? Please. Other quest. Quest. Glass. What does she mean? Hang on. Hang on. Can you help me find more glass? What does that mean? What? I don't get it. More hydration. Oh my, we have half an hour till the break, Jack. I'm here. How long do I have that set to? 20 minutes or 30 minutes? Because that's kind of crazy. They just let you do that so many times. Also, why is that not... oh, it's because I had to... yeah. How do I get glass? I'm so confused. She wants glass, and I just don't... wait. It says right there what she wants. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Okay, we're gonna go back home. We're gonna go back home. And make glass panes. That's what she wanted the whole time. Of course she didn't want the bricks. It's just not... it's not good enough. It's not good enough. She's like 4 years old and already knows what's better. My own fault. I should have just checked. Everyone else has made so much more sense. Why do I not have any glass panes? Why is that the one thing I haven't done? I spent yesterday doing so much stuff. just gonna do like 10. And I've got some more. Okay, they don't take too long. We should be fine. I don't remember how many she needed. I think she needed like 4 or something. Wait, I can check. I can check. Hang on. She wants 4, yeah, okay. So we got 2, 3. Okay, as soon as we get this, we're going. Because I have 15 minutes to do the chest. And I feel like I'm not going to find them. I'm not going to find these easy at all. I hope they're easy, but I just don't think they will be. Now, when I spent an hour in the forest trying to figure out where they were because I didn't understand how they worked. Okay, we'll go find Mama first. Get this bit done. And then we do the treasure chest. I can probably do the chest another day, to be honest. I don't think I have to do them on day 1. But just to be sure, because I don't want to ruin my chances of getting something. I don't like missing out on stuff.
Hi there.
Okay, here's your, like, glass that I struggled to find. Okay. Leveled up. That's the first time I've leveled up with someone. I can gift her now. Let's go. Okay. We need to do these. So let's go and find them. Oh, wait. I don't have to do these within a certain time period. I wish it had told me that. I wish it would have told me that. Hi there. She's so cute. Is that an angry face that you just put? That's so mean. There's no way. She's so cute. I love it. Don't you dare say that it's annoying. Wait, where is this? Where's the chest? Does that look like an angry face to you? I don't know. I can't see it because OBS is tiny. Where is this? Why is there I can't dig a rock. Oh, these are important, actually. They give you the currency to spend at the festival. It's a cute emoji. Oh, is it the cute, like, one with, like, the eyes? I was like, I don't know if it's that or not. I can't tell. It looked like an angry one, as if you were annoyed with how she spoke. She was so cute when I had to do a quest the other day. Like, she doesn't like people helping her because she's like, I'm big now. I don't need help. Like, don't tell my brother I asked for help. She's so cute. Wait, we found another one. Hello. The one time I showed my emotional side in the game, you play and you treat me like this. I can't see because OBS makes the text tiny. It's like, basically, the angry face and, like, the cute face are the exact same thing. It's impossible to see it when it's tiny. It's like a full stop. It's that small. Absolutely tiny. We have to do these chests, though, because annoyingly, like, if I don't, I won't be able to buy things at the festival. And let's be real, I'm gonna want to buy things at the festival because there's gonna be cute stuff and I'm gonna be upset if I can't buy them. Where's this chest? Where's the chest? Oh my god, why is it there? What do I get? Okay, we get a lot of money as well. These are kind of crazy. Oh, there's another one back here as well. Where? Where are you taking me? Where am I going? Hello? This is why I don't like these chests. You see what I mean? They take so long. Where am I going? I thought they were all going to be on the beach. I thought they were all going to be on the beach and it was going to be so simple. I knew damn well. I knew damn well. That took so long. Ooh, floral decor. Nice. I don't mind doing it if it's gonna give me things, obviously, but like I'm not good at following the arrow. I can't even see the arrow properly, like I'm really, really bad at this. can't believe it took me so long to figure out how to do it though. I was running around looking for a chest. I was like, I don't need to look for the arrow properly. I'll just like look for a chest. But the game didn't show me the chest because you have to dig it. So I was just like looking for a chest for an hour in the forest. All to realize the chest wouldn't show until I clicked dig. Very annoying. Where is this one? They're all over the place. I'm literally being sent to the opposite place that I'm at to find this. Are you kidding? Where is it? In the water? How is it there? No logical. Nothing logical. This is not logical. None of these make sense. Why are they all in the water and stuff? Okay, we only have 2 more. Unless there's like more rubbish down this end of the beach, and then it's gonna be a bit of a problem. Because this is gonna take me like an hour to finish. Oh. Wait. No, it's up there. We have to get up there somehow. And I have no way how. How do I get up? How do I get up there? I have to go all the way over here. Oh no. I wish I could have the skateboard out while we had the map out. It would make it a lot easier. Where are you? Oh, here. Okay. And the next one is back where we came from. Of course it is. Okay. This should be the last one because I don't think that there's any more rubbish. And you get these from picking up the rubbish on the beach. So I'm hoping this is the last one. Which, oh, there's a chest there. It's not even a part of this, but let's open it while we're at it. Ooh. We can get items from these. I can't dig there. It's literally, like, not diggable. Now, what do we do? Lost items. Those are the apprentice stuff. So we don't have anything else to actually do. Those are complete stuff. Okay. So we can go back home. In fact, let's just look at the calendar. Because it says, like, today's, like, obviously a preparation day or something. And then the beach festival is all day. But then it's the Saturday that's, like, the full thing. So I'm a little bit confused. Today's clearly, like, a little quest thing. Tomorrow, I don't know what it entails. But then the Saturday, the 27th, is, like, a whole, like, activities and stuff like that. My calendar is wrong. It's because there's only 4 seasons. So they've just kind of, like, gone with the flow. It's just, like, 1 to 28. Oh, wait, we do have a spring... I didn't even realize we do have a spring festival. I was just saying at the beginning, like, I didn't think we had a spring festival. But I think is this supposed to be, like... What, is this winter? Oh, this is winter. This is this meant to be, like, Chinese New Year or something? Like, Lunar New Year or something? Because the, lanterns. Because, like, obviously we just had that, so I'm assuming... There's something, but there's still no autumn. There's still no autumn. One day, a girl can hope that we'll have like a Halloween festival or something. It'd be so good. Especially in a game like this, if they change the like whole, like, you know, like the tree colors and like, they do have like, you can't plant certain things during certain seasons, which I like. I learned that the hard way in games like this. When I first started playing Stardew Valley, I didn't realize that if I planted something on like the last day of spring and then it turned into like, what is it, like summer, it would kill the plant. So we don't want to do that. Please tell me you run people over your skateboard, or you can't run people over directly, but you can bump into them like a crazy person and like pretend. It's like a cozy version of GTA. You can have like the bikes, you can have roller skates, you can have a skateboard, you can have like a scooter, you can I don't know what else there is, but there are cars as well, so. So you can't send them flying. Unfortunately, we can't. I was tidying up the community center storage and found a bunch of delicious fruit. I see you running around the island. You must get tired. Remember to keep your energy up. I am perfectly fine, girl. I am fine. I have mushroom soup. Which, speaking of, I should probably put some on to cook. Because I collected a bunch of mushrooms while doing the mine yesterday. Let's collect these. Put them away. Yeah, this game's very much like a cozier version of GTA. It's not actually crazy like GTA. But it's like you can do the stuff like you kind of want to in like a non-direct way. It's just an animation store you can buy grenades and you can craft flashbangs. Hang on. You can actually craft flashbangs. I saw someone do that the other day and they were like, why are these in the game? I might not have the thing for it though. I don't think I do. But you can make you can make like flashbangs or something weird, which is like what is I think it's for like the like creatures in the mine. So you can like distract them because we have like bows. We have instead of a what am I thinking of? Like a lumber thing. I don't know what the name of it is. We have machetes. We have hammers and machetes in the game. I'm not gonna lie, some of the things seem a little bit insane. But like, you know what? Axe, that's the word. So you have a pickaxe and an axe, and then you end up upgrading to like a machete and a hammer. Kind of a little bit intense. But you know what? I'm here for it. It's like chaotically cozy. I can have this for a car. A sports car. If I want. A mini 4WD. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But I can have one. A little bit, it's strange. A little bit strange. And then you have like cute little bunnies on your farm, but it's like, yeah, I could just go flashbang a monster and then like pew pew. You know? I think I hate the idea of wasting days, but because the stream is supposed to be the summer event, and we would be here for like a week straight IRL if I didn't waste days. So we're gonna go to sleep so we could do the rest of the festival. I don't know. I wouldn't typically do this. I did this at the beginning of playing the game because I didn't realize how to make food. But now that I have food, I don't actually need to I don't actually need to eat or anything because we have the festival. Oh, we have a timed thing again. Oh no. Can you craft your own number plate? I'm not reading that because I don't. No, I know. Okay, I read it in my head. We're not reading that out loud. Can't believe you would do that. Oh my god. I'm not reading that. I was like, wait, I already know if I can't figure it out, it's gonna be a troll. I already knew. I already knew. You can't get me. I'm a seasoned streamer. I already know. I know not to read things out loud until I actually read it to myself. I thought you'd fall for it. No, I've seen the Simpsons episode where Bart rings the like bar like continuously just like doing prank phone call. I've already read your dialogue. Let's do your quest. Boutique's really coming together. Thanks for your help yesterday. I couldn't have done it without you. I hope you'll be the first to visit when the stall opens tomorrow. The festival isn't just about honoring the sea maiden. It's about blessing the fishermen. Inspired me to design ocean-themed outfits. Oh. Oh. By the way, I have one more favor. Could you mess up some measurements? I messed up some measurements. So I need new iron sheets. Of course you do. Of course you do. Do I not have them? Do I not have them? Please tell me I have them. I do. I have 5. Lovely. Who's next? What do you need? And this coming along well today, right? Thanks to the call you brought yesterday, getting a good start. A good start is half the battle. Progress might be linear, but I'm sure we'll finish the booth today. Got a moment to help me out. We used up a lot of materials yesterday. Can you find me 3 sermons of fine salt? I think I have it before you run away. Stop running away from me. Do you hate me or something? This guy literally just runs away from me every time I talk to him. I think he hates me. 114 hours in. Oh my, Tony. Hello. Are you playing right now? Honestly, this is an MMO. You would have everything I need. You would just have everything I need right now. You have like absolutely everything in the game already. I am only about 40 hours. I'm just going up to 40 hours. I have 3 pots to buy. Do you know what though? I took your advice. I took your advice a little bit. Doing the bulletin board, I've spent money, don't get me wrong, that's why I don't have much again. But I did it earlier to try and figure it out. And it does work. It is a pretty good tactic. So you need to catch up. Absolutely slacking. I only have so many time in a day to play games. Too many games. Wait, do I not have the salt? Okay, well, we gotta go figure the salt out then, because I have the salt blocks and stuff. Who else? Let's go and do everyone else, because I have a feeling they're gonna need things I don't have to. And I don't feel like going back and forth, because that's gonna be annoying. We only have 20 minutes to do it. Oh. Okay, I actually just completely skipped it, so we're just gonna skip the whole thing. I did not mean to skip that. No, I need to do the quest. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we have plenty of coal. You don't need to worry at all. I literally played for like 8 hours yesterday and collected as much as humanly possible. It's kind of ridiculous. I slept 3 times. I did 3 whole days in the mine. Also gives you a Wikipedia. Wait, yeah. The work, I've seen that. Are you trying to complete everything? Can you take a picture of me in the clouds? Of course. She wants a picture with the clouds. The pink stars? Yes. Aww. She's so cute. Wait, how do I do it? Oh, it's ready. Want to take a look? I can't wait to see how it turned out. Photos are amazing. Look, I'm up in the clouds. Everyone's gonna love this. Here's a photo frame for you. I love her so much. Oh, well, my stall is almost done. My brother Ian said he was proud of me yesterday. And all thanks to you. My brother said I owe you a huge thank you. I'm just doing the finishing touches, changing the colour here and adding a decoration there. But I'm out materials again. Could you help me grab more? What do you need? What does she need? Tell me what you need, girl. There we go. I already had them. Yay! Hello, my friend. Nice. The pink stars, though. The pink stars I didn't use for so long. Like, oh wait, that's the wrong one. This one. Look, I have 300, but I had nearly 2k. So you just like use them to upgrade these. I had 0 clue that was a thing. And obviously it benefits you, but like if something benefits me in a game, I don't know about it until like a month into playing. So of course it took me like 2 weeks to figure that out. Beach feels so different today. Everything will be ready tomorrow. Excited. I'm looking forward to it too. Since it's been a long time since we celebrated the beach festival together. Thank you for your help yesterday. I'm making great progress. Some of the hardware planks I left on the sand got damp. Why did you leave them on the sand? You're a fisherman. You're supposed to know these things. It's okay. I have loads. He just... Did you just... He just teleported. Are you okay? That was weird. Okay. Oh, we're like 1 heart with everyone now. We need salt. I don't know. Hang on. And I don't actually know how to get that. Because I have salt, but I don't have fine salt. Charcoal kiln. Okay. Go to Asda. Or just go in my cupboard. I have that much salt at this point. The only thing I don't have is like flavored salt. I know a lot of people that have pots have like flavored salt. I've seen people give their friends that have pots flavored salt for a gift. And like, can you imagine? I feel like that'd be a great gift. What do you mean? It's not even just salt. It has flavor to it. Awesome. Love that. What a great gift. There it is. I don't even remember how much it was, but I'm gonna do like 5. It doesn't take too long. So we can actually get this done. And then I think we go to sleep and we do the festival after the ad break, maybe. We will have an ad break coming up shortly, unfortunately. Annoyingly. Any other words I can try and find to describe it. You know what though? I'm actually like... I don't know if I'm gonna say this. I might hit ads on Twitch. I might. But at least Twitch isn't having the problems that YouTube streams are having right now. I don't know if you guys watch anyone on YouTube streams, but they are having some problems. Like, you can't do anything. It's crazy. People are like trying to donate to YouTube streamers and it's not going through. They're trying to just like re-chat and chat isn't loading. People can't send messages. It's crazy. I'm glad that if nothing else, at least Twitch is working, right? That's all we can be thankful for. Okay, it's only 8 AM and we're just gonna waste the day. I kind of hate that, but you know what? It's fine. I want you guys to actually see the festival, so I don't want to just like completely be like, yeah, we're gonna do the festival, but only half of it. Can you imagine? There you go. Nice. Everyone's up to like 1 level now. Okay, is there anything on the beach? Oh, there is. Okay, we can do this before we like log off for the night before we do the festival, because this gives us currency and I need it. Need as much currency because if there's gonna be cute clothes or there's gonna be cute furniture, I need it. Okay, like I desperately need it. I'm not gonna go without. No chance. But I think the clothing is what I want more though. We'll see. I might not even like it. I might not like it. Later on, you get a drill for mining and chainsaw for woodcutting, but if you use a small brick at the senior craft level in your Wikipedia, you're better off sticking with a hammer and machete. Really? I wonder why. Maybe that's like not something that was intended. I wonder if anyone else has realized that. That like it doesn't really make any sense, right? Because I think I remember you saying it last stream. Like, why wouldn't you upgrade? Why would they make the upgrade worse? Weird. Because they regenerate stamina. Oh. Oh, wait. That's cool. That's pretty cool, actually. A bit weird, though. A bit weird. If you don't need to upgrade the tools to be able to collect furniture, then there's no point then. The drill and the chainsaw don't. Okay. I'm kind of excited to find stuff like that out. I have like, I played the other day, but I didn't play in the sense that I would figure these types of things out. I've been trying to avoid it because I want to do those sort of stuff on stream. But I just like did a bunch of material stuff. And I need to start doing the like tool upgrades because I got to the part of the mine where there's gold and I can't mine it. I can't mine it. And so I will have to start doing some stuff off stream, but it's fine. We have so much stuff that we can do on stream, so it's okay. It's okay. I gotta get over the fact that like not everything can be done on stream. I always forget. I do that with every new game I play. I'm like, oh, I want to do it all on stream, but I do it all on stream. So I gotta learn that it's like, okay to put the game off stream. It's gonna happen one day. And after this festival, I think until Jack. I think until the until the next festival after this one, so like the spring one into like the autumn spring one, that's something we'll do on stream. And then after that, I think I'm probably just gonna be like completely like fine with playing off stream and then playing on stream too. It won't be a problem where I'm like, I'm gonna do something and it's gonna be like something I want to do on stream. It's like, it's fine. I do like the sprinklers, which are great. Watering was always a pain. I've seen that the like upgrade, there's like a Jack. What is that? What? Yeah, you just like went to New York and like bought a billboard and put my stream on it. Thank you so much. Imagine. I do like the sprinkler. Yeah, the sprinklers. I saw because I was watching Let's Play K, like I said, and I saw like she was getting ready to do autumn in game, and I saw that she was having like problems with like watering and like plants and things, and I was just like, yeah, that looks like a very annoying thing to do. I haven't even done sprinklers in any game that has them yet, so this is probably going to be the first one that I do. Because I tried to do them in Stardew Valley and it's very confusing for me personally. So the sprinklers will probably be something I try in this game before anything else, if I'm completely honest. We do have ads coming up in like 3 minutes, so let's just clear all the red dots. All the red dots. Ooh, I like that. We get a little rock pool. How cute. Let's also like upgrade my like skills, because like why not? We have 435. I think I want to do this. That looks good. Greatly reduces required processing time. Let's just do that. That one's done. The general store will now stock a moderate supply of raw materials. I'm not too bothered about that one, to be honest. And harvesting crops is a great chance you'll get some bonus seeds. That one could be good. And then the exploration one. Moderate chance of dealing critical damage. Not really bothered about that. Charge speed. Not really bothered about that. Moderate chance of recovering ammo after hitting a target. We can't do that one yet. Okay, we'll leave it like that. But yeah, we have this tomorrow. And as much as it's only 11 a.m., we have an ad break coming up in like literally a minute. So I'm probably just gonna go to sleep. If I was like able to stream for like hours, we would just play this out, but it's just not gonna happen because realistically, like, I don't have the time. I don't have enough stream time to play out the days and then do the festival. So we'll go to sleep, we'll have an ad break, and then when we come back, we'll do the actual festival and all like the little activities, and it'll probably take us the rest of the stream. So that'll be fun. And then we'll just see what happens after that. We'll probably do the festival, and then we'll do like a little bit of the like the autumn just to see what's new. I have yet to actually really plant anything, and I don't typically plant much in games anyway. Like I'm really bad with like the farm itself. I haven't done any of the animals yet, but I'm excited to see because there are pumpkins in autumn, which is great. I haven't planted a single watermelon yet, which I will have to do in the second the second year of the game, but it's fine. So ads are about to play. Please go and like stretch, go get some food, go get some water, and we will be right back in a couple minutes. Okay, we're back. Let's go to sleep. And then we can do the festival. I think something that's super annoying, just to add, is that on my phone, I can't actually see if I step away from the PC if, like, ads are still playing or not. Which is super annoying. I have to put, like, a timer on my phone to, like, tell myself. But let's untrack you. Untrack you. Okay. Okay, Half Moon Bay, let's go. Wait, do I have room in my bag? Hang on. I do, I have plenty of room, I am fine. Let's go and see. Can we just like straight up buy clothes yet or not? I have a feeling the game is not gonna let me do that straight away. Or maybe it will. I don't know. What are you gonna tell me? Okay. I don't want the coconut. Annual Beach Festival's back and it's as lively as ever. Let me give you a quick rundown. Okay. Okay. First up, 8 o'clock. You can join the crab herding event. Yay! The one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. It looks very annoying. It can really test your patience. You can find the crab boss across from Marsden's house to join in. I don't want to. Next up, 10 o'clock. Delphine will host offshore racing event. That I'll probably try and do. That was quite fun, actually. Delphine insisted I read his promotional tagline for this. So here it goes. Oh, it's like big text. It's your one chance this year to speed past Marsden's without getting in trouble. Don't miss it. Well, anyway, it's a fast-paced and intense event, and at 12 o'clock, the Beach Festival Market opens. So I have to wait till 12? Oh, we might have to do the crab event to get the coins. Today at 7, the bonfire pie. Be sure to swing by the main stage for the big celebration. Okay. Well, sure then. Let's go and do the crabs. Why not? Yay, crabs. Cool. That, you know what? That sounds so fun. I'm not looking forward. I'm just not even gonna lie. Wait, what's this? Oh. I have a new watering can. Nice. I didn't even realize. We put these in here because we need to actually let me just organize this. It's driving me insane. I hate when my inventory is like an absolute mess like this. I'm gonna put these up here so I can actually see them. And then we need to get these because they're gonna give us coins. I don't want to do them, but they're gonna give me coins. So I gotta do them. So we have a little bit of time to kill. So let's go find these chests. And then we have the crab thing. These crabs are so annoying though. You have to like guide them into like a little box. And they just don't want to be found. Not found. They just don't want to be like told what to do basically. So they're very annoying. And I don't really want to do it. But if it's going to give me coins, then I will take it. Because we currently have like 1,500 coins. Which is quite a lot. I do wonder how much it's going to cost. It could honestly be like 1,000 for like one outfit. And that's all I can buy. So I'm going to try and get as much as I can. But we shall see. We shall see how much we end up with. I don't think these give too much. They give like 75, which is like fine. It's not a lot, but it's like enough, you know? It could be worse. It could be like 1. It could be like just 1 coin, but I'll accept it. Where is this? We're like almost at home, so this is a little bit weird. Why are we going all the way over here? Okay, next. Back down to the beach. Wait, the seashell decoration is super cute. I have to say, I don't know why this game has like such a perfect aesthetic for me. I don't know how they did it, but a game finally managed to make everything pretty perfect. I have a problem that when a game comes out and it looks good, but it's just not pretty, like my aesthetic and stuff, it's like a bit of a problem, you know? I'm like, oh, but it doesn't look nice. Like, even the art style could be super cute, but if it's not my kind of thing, I just don't want to play it, and it's really bad. I have a problem, guys. I have a problem. We're gonna go back over here for it. Okay, we have 3 more, and then the crab event started, but we have a little bit of time before we actually have to do that, and I just realized where this is. They're all in the original places, so this one's in the water. For some reason. Like, not quite in the water, but down here. Okay. Next one. See, they give 65, which means that ultimately, like, you do get, like, a decent amount. But it's just not, like, a lot. It's okay. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. I think we're gonna have to leave some stuff till the next year of the gameplay, like, which is fine, because by the time I get to that point, we'll just stream it again, you know? That's a long way off. It's gonna be like another 50 plus hours. Oh, it's up there. It's gonna be like another 50 plus hours until we actually get back to summer again, so it'll be fine. Here we go. And the last one. Okay, last one, and we do the crab event if it's still going. If not, I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered. I don't want to do it. Where was this one? Did we have one all the way? I don't think we had one here before. I think this is like the only one that wasn't a repeat. Where is this? Where are we going? Hello, is this supposed to be a beach event? Why am I being taken all the way to the, like, garden and stuff? That is a very weird spot. Very weird spot. But you know what? It's fine. Yeah, I was also thinking I might have been given, like, ingredients. Not ingredients. The currency in, like, the wrong place. Okay. We're gonna go back to the beach. See if we can even do the event or not. Even if we can do it, I don't think it's gonna give me enough time to do it to get anything out of it. So it might be a little bit useless, but you know what? It's fine. Okay, where's the crab guy? I think he was over this way. There he is. Are you not doing Chopper Chase today? Yeah. Let's do Chopper Chase in a game where choppers don't exist. This is basically Chopper Chase, though, let's be real. Except, I don't care about you explaining it to me. Oh, I did it. That was easy. When I saw someone else do it, it was like the hardest thing ever. Like, hello? Why was it so hard when I was watching them do it? That's so easy. Okay. Anyway, we're done with that. Where's the offshore thing? Is it down here? Because I'm going to do this. This looks cool. Hi. Do I talk to you? Wait, what do I do? What about the Magic Market Festival? Magic Market Festival? I don't think that's the right words. Plus, I don't actually think the Magic Market's open, is it? I've been working with the animals. Ooh, what animals do you have so far? I have a bunch of, like, rabbits that I've, like, accidentally hit when farming bushes. We don't talk about that. I'm excited to get ducks. Those are going to be really cute. Did you take the yacht for a spin? How's a quiet Check the... Okay, so what do we do? Do we do this? There we go. So where do we go for it? Do we do this? There we go. Magic Market Festival is an event which you can play Balloon Pop and Chapters. Duh. Oh no, my bad. I didn't know that. This is way better than Chapter Chase. Oh. Oh god. Oh. Hello. This is kind of crazy. Oh, where is it? I'm not good at this. I should have known I would have been good at this. I'm not good at turning the corners. That's like... Oh no. Oh, we have to finish it though. We're gonna finish this. There's no chance that we just don't finish it. How long is it? It's making me feel a bit sick, I'm not gonna lie. I also have a problem with like open water, whether it's like real or not. So this is kind of making me feel a little bit sick right now. Sending me in circles in like big open water. That's brilliant. Oh my. Does this keep going until we like lose or what? Is steering a boat is yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's very good. Or we just suck, I don't know. Oh my, this is like my Fortnite driving. Okay. We got third? We got last. I didn't even know there were other people doing it. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. I'm just not doing it. Chickens, ducks, rabbits, and sheep so far, but gonna buy cows and pigs in a while. You have the ducks though. I love the ducks. They look so cute. They look so cute. I definitely need like 1 million ducks. Where did all these people come from? Hello? Why is there like multiple versions of each of you? Like, I think this was a glitch. Oh? Or are you twins? Are they twins or are they like... Is it glitched? Should there not be 2 of them? That looks a bit weird. Also, I don't know where the market is. I think it's supposed to be up here though. And it's gonna start soon, so... Also, Tony, I'm gonna say this and regret it, but... What theme did you go with to name your animals? Because I know that you and Raz are just terrible. You guys are terrible with the names. They're good names, but they're really bad. The NPCs? Yeah, obviously the NPCs, but why is there 2 of them? There shouldn't be 2 of them. They look the exact same. It's a bit weird. Wait. Oh, I have to wait till 12. You have to be kidding me. I just want to, like, buy things. Where's the like, clothing one? Over here. Okay. Please be cute stuff. I haven't even seen any of it. But if it's cute and I have, like... How much money do I have? I have nearly 2,000 coins. A girl can hope. A girl can hope there's going to be a really cute outfit. But the problem is... I kind of want, like, her outfit with minus, like, the schoolgirl top. Because, that's more autumnal. We're literally a day off autumn, so it's kind of a bit useless. Bonus, this time I haven't been bothered on using them for resources. Oh. So you're not, like, going with a theme or anything like with Palia? And naming them after, like, KFC food? I don't even know how to name that many animals. That's my problem. I see other people doing it and I'm like, how did you come up with those names? I think we just have to do the same thing as what I did in Palia and name them after, like, names in Taylor songs. Not yet. You're just leaving was like Duck 1, Duck 2. That's fine. It's fine. Your names were so brutal though in Palia. I actually can't believe you did that. It's like sad because I'm like, how are you gonna call them that? But it's like hilarious at the same time. So your name's better than mine. Okay, here we go. Wait a second. Wait, I can't buy the whole thing. And they're just like patterns too. They're not even like proper. No. I can't even make money out. Oh no. Guys. If I decide to name them, then the new chicken curry rabbit pie next section. Not rabbit pie. That's so mean. Okay, we don't need the shoes. I don't need them. And I don't need that. Like, what is this? Is it like a bracelet? I don't need them. But I needed these. Let's just be real for a second. I'm gonna assume that yeah, it's a normal one too. And then this one's gonna just be like pictures. I'm not bothered about that. And then this one's just food. No, go away. Go away. Don't want to sit down. Go to the till. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy food either. That is not worth anything to me. What is worth something to me is the fact that I actually couldn't even buy you can't even see me. My light's so weird. Oh, that's too bright though. Oh. Oh well. The camera's a little bit dim, but like I think it's just because the weather's starting to change outside. It's starting to get like brighter later, which is weird. We had to buy the clothing as patterns and have to make them ourselves, which is probably fine because we can probably go do that in a second. But the hair, let's see, do I hate it or do I love it? She's kind of cute. She's kind of cute. I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, the blonde's really cute as well. But you guys are gonna think I'm an absolute weirdo for this. But I actually saved the I saved the numbers of what I made the hair color on my other one, that I can do it again on every other one. So the hue, I think I did this. I did 25, 64, and 32. So that I can match them. How cute. Wait, I actually like it. I actually like it. Oh, it's cute. I know we can't see the thing with like the hat on, but the hair in itself is actually really cute. I didn't even notice the glasses are back. I pick and choose when I wear them. Today's just not one of those days where I can wear my contacts. And I had them in yesterday, so I was like, I'm just not going to wear them for stream today. I'm just not going to wear them. I think without wasting time, we just go back home and make the outfits, and then we come back for the like show. I think that's what we do. Because I want to know what the outfit looks like, and if I'm gonna wear it, I don't think I can wear it the day after this because it's gonna be like a little bit too cold. So let's see. What's this? I even know what this is. Mist leaf? It's so cute. Hello, I need that. Aww. I got so used to wearing glasses on, it just look weird when you wear your contacts. I think that is what it is. Oh, we need to go back and get these. Wait, let's track it. Let's track it, because I'm gonna forget. Wait, get off the skateboard. Get off the skateboard. Yeah, I think it's the fact that when you see someone with glasses on all the time and then they just don't wear them, it looks odd because they become a part of the face. So I wore them every day, not caring about the fact that I had to wear them every day, and then I got a little bit annoyed and was like, I want contacts. And then the minute I had the contacts in, I looked in the mirror and it made me jump. because I just wasn't used to it. So it's quite funny. Quite funny to see yourself with all the glasses. But like, I'm honestly just gonna be like, it's gonna be like an on and off thing. Like, do I want to wear glasses today? Do I not want to wear glasses? Like, it's just gonna be like whatever, you know? Sometimes you'll see me with them and sometimes you won't. Where are these mussels? Oh wait, did these class as that or what? No? Or I already had some, that's why. I was about to say, like, they are not the same thing. A clam and a mussel? Hello? I need you guys, though. Oh, he disappeared. Okay. We have disappearing crabs in this game. I can't even catch them either. By the time I get to them... they just disappear. That makes perfect sense. You know what? Like, it actually makes perfect sense. Like, it's fine. Yeah, like crabs that just, like, disappear and, like, run off so much that you can't even catch them just makes so much sense. Sure. That's, like, a good game mechanic, yeah. How do I find mussels? Do I, like, is it the ones that are, like, sprouting the little water? Like, is that what I should be doing? Should we dig in it? Back in a while, I saw some food. Okay, I hope you make some good food. Or buy some good food if you're not making it. Is this it? No. Where are the damn mussels at? I don't know where they are. Are they in the water? Like, do I need to go, like, into the water and find them? Or is that not... Is that not the right thing either? I'm so confused. Okay, right, okay, get out of the water and then I can do the skateboard. There's something starfish, but nothing else. Maybe they're over the other side. Because you're not one. Oh, I literally cannot pick them up without getting off. Yikes, that's a little bit annoying. A little bit annoying. It's fine. I just need to find, like, blue shells. Where are they? I don't know where they are. I can't find them. It just doesn't look like there is any. How do I find them? I've already gotten them before, so it doesn't really make much sense. Mussels. So I'm doing that, though. So they're like blue and green. Can't find any. Of course I can't find any. Of course I only had 3. I'm gonna make the outfit. I don't even want to put the skirt on until we have the top. Maybe I should like... Oh, wait. There's some more over here. There's some more stuff. I have to look over the entire beach, not just by the sand. Or by the water, even. Or am I doing it wrong? I just want 2 mussels, please. Why am I finding all the clams? All the clams and not enough mussels. Do you know where the mussels are? Because I don't. Scallop. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer now. Starfish. Maybe I should just pick everything up and then they might start to spawn. Is it... Wait, the blue version of this is so nice. Also, we have like another version of this anyway, which I should get soon. Which is like a greeny blue one. And that's super exciting. I like the look of that one. So either way, if we don't get that, at least we get that one. But I do want the thing I just paid for. Like, let me have it. That's not what I want. Well, this is going to be the rest of the stream, basically, is looking for some mussels. Can I buy them? Is that a thing? Can I, like, buy mussels from somewhere? Like... Like this? No. Oh. That was the first time I actually had one of those. Okay. Can I buy it from anywhere else? Surely it would make more sense to give us the actual outfit instead of... Wait, let's see. Instead of just, like, making us have to make it ourselves. You know? I don't know if that's just me, but I... Wait, why can't I buy food? I wanted to see if I could buy something from here, but it won't let me. I just feel like giving us the outfit would have been nicer. I get it means we can make more, but I just, like... I don't need more. I need one outfit, that's all I need. And they're not letting me. It's really bad enough I can't buy the whole outfit because I don't have the sand coin, beach coin things. Is that not enough for you? You have to make me try and find 2 mussels and spawn none. Am I looking in the wrong place? Maybe I should go over this way. Which is where? I put it on the map. I can't see it. There we go. Oh wait, no, that's that way. Huh? Oh, it's not. It's just sending me up this way so I can get out. Okay. Maybe we go check over this side. Even though I feel like it's a little bit odd for them to sell like furniture or like clothing or something that you have to like leave the beach festival to go find. Any mussels? I'm not gonna lie, it looks like it's gonna storm in a second. Oh, I thought that was one. It's just a starfish. It could be one though. Any here? Or in the water? Do we have to fish them or something? Like, it says beachcombing, which I would have assumed would just be basically like, look at the beach. Just like forage at the beach, but there's none. I never get good RNG in any game. This is crazy. Alien 2. Can I not buy them from like... Can I not buy them from like the general shop or something? This is crazy. We're gonna go back and see if there's any on the actual beach. The fireworks! The fireworks! I thought they didn't happen yet! Please tell me that glitched. No, they're actually doing fireworks without me! Hello? How rude! No one told me we were doing fireworks at this time. I thought the fireworks were happening at like 12. Like midnight. I missed them. No. It would have even been good anyway, because I could have taken like a picture because I would have wanted a new outfit. Okay, that's not one. Neither you. I don't want new stuff. I want things I already got. You're not letting me have them. No. I'm gonna have to do it off stream now. That's gonna make me so sad. Who sets fireworks off before it's dark? Literally everyone in the UK. Everyone in the UK. At least by me. Every single week there is someone doing fireworks at like 5 PM when it's still brightly, very bright outside. Ask them because I do not know why. Hello? Let me up. Okay, I don't think... We're not gonna find them. We're not gonna find them. Of course we're not. Okay, so this is gonna be a bonfire. Oh? Girl, we don't care. Thank you. So this is the bonfire. See, in the UK, when we do a bonfire, it's not this well structured. It's just like a bunch of rubbish that people bring to just throw in a big heap in someone's back garden. This is like very well organized. In comparison, are you kidding? Like, look at the stacking of the like logs. It's like perfect. We do not have that. Oh wait, I want to do that. Stop telling me I have things I already know. I wanna join in. Where's my light stick? I just got one. Where did it go? Wait, do I have a light stick thing? I could have sworn we got one at the beginning. Am I crazy? I don't see it. We don't have one. Wow. Of course we don't. Of course, you guys all have one, and the game was supposed to have given me one, but it took it off me. Am I supposed to be able to hear this? I think I'm supposed to be able to hear it. Is this the game music, or is it them? Because this looks a bit too energetic for the music that's currently playing. What? I'm lost. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Do I have like a quest or anything to do? Wait, take stage, show me a guitar. Oh, I'm supposed to be performing, guys. Oh god, okay. Okay, we can do this. This is stressful. Oh no, they're giving me like 2 at once. No, I'm done. I'm done. This is just embarrassing. No. Who came up with this idea? This is not fun. This is... I don't have like... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Just completely the wrong button. I'm not good at stuff like this. You've never seen me play Guitar Hero or something. Like, I'm not gonna start now. No one told me I had to be able to do this when it came to playing this game. Are you kidding? Oh, it said I didn't do that. It said I didn't even do it, and I did it. Okay, are we done now? Can we be done? Because I'm losing my mind. Are we done? We're almost done. I'm holding it down and it's not counting me as doing it. What was that? Boo! Awful. That wasn't fun. That was just stressful. Aw, cute. Hi.
Hello, partner. Hi.
Hi, partner. Hang on a second. Did he just? Did he just? What just happened? Did me and Delphine just have like a minute together? Hello? Boy, where did you go? Where did he go? Like, he just, like, did that and then just, like, left. Yeah. Yeah, that just happened. Okay. Couldn't tell you what just happened, but I'm going to assume. I think the worst part is that you can't actually do anything right now in this game with relationships. Or, like, I don't think you can do much. But... Oh, are you kidding? I was gonna do this so that I could try and, like... buy the stuff, but it's gonna, like, make me go home late. Can I still do it, though? It won't... It won't let me. You're gonna be kidding. Well, maybe next year. Maybe next year. That doesn't suck at all. The game was just like cut to like midnight. Wow. The game did me dirty again. And we still have no muscles. Still have no muscles. I am going to bed. Do not make me faint. Thank you. Thank you. First day of autumn? Is it or is it not? Oh, it's not. Hang on. Am I crazy? Wasn't it supposed to be the first day of autumn? Oh, we have one day. No. No, I don't care about the 28th. I want it to be the first. Okay, well, we need mussels. So let's just go and find those. Let's just try and do that. And then we'll at least sleep so we can see if it changes anything in autumn. And then we'll leave it there. Wait, why did it not delete the message? Did it not delete that? That's a little sus. Okay, let's go down this end and work the way up and see. We only need 2. It's like not much to ask for, you know? Really not that much to ask for. I only need 2 mussels. We just like... We gotta get lucky. I don't know if you're supposed to just find them on the beach or if you're supposed to find them somewhere else. But I would have assumed... There you are! You just like left me last night after that. Hello? It's a clam. It's a damn clam. Are you kidding? Of course it is. And a scallop. How do I find mussels? How do I find mussels? I feel like I'm going crazy. The game just doesn't want me to find them. Like, am I not doing it right? I'm gonna have to, like, look it up. I'm gonna have to look it up and see, because I really want to make it. I really want to make it, but I just don't want to look for, like, 10 minutes. I don't want to be looking for, like, 10 minutes just to not be able to find it. Yeah, does anyone sell mussels? Also, apparently the mussels and the clams were originally messed up. That's great. I physically can't find them. Mussels. Apparently I have 3 of them. I don't know how I do, but I cannot for the life of me find them. We're Googling it. Beach blossom. Sometimes a lump of the same colour in this thing can be picked up. I can't find them. I cannot find them. No one knows. I want to make a new outfit. This sucks. Can I go anywhere else to try and find them? Like, not really. Also, we can delete this. All we have is this and this. Because there's nothing here either. Hmm. How do we find them? Look around the beach. There's some also birds here. Small jet of water. I've done that though. I've done that like... I'm just so confused. Yeah, I'm very confused. I have like... I've gone on the beach like a million times and found clam. I found everything other than mussels. Mussels are blue? Yeah. I don't see them. Look. There's nothing here. Not a single thing. And then we go over to this side of the beach. And there is literally nothing. I don't see them anywhere. Someone else he's running away from me now. I've seen other people say that they cannot for the life of them find them because this is a clam. You try every day. We've done it for 3 days, I think. At this point. I've gone up and down this beach 3 or 4 times yesterday, and this is the 2nd time today. Like, in-game. For none. I just want to make the cute little outfit. I wanted to make it on stream so I can, like, react to it. I only have 17. And you've looked every day. And there's no way to buy them? I found one. I don't care. 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 I found one. We only need one more. It's the... They've changed them. The mussels aren't blue on the beach. It's these. This is a mussel. But it's not. It's a sand dollar. I pick it... Oh, they're glitched. They're glitched. That's why. Mussels are glitched. They're not showing up blue on the beach. They're like hidden under the sand. They need to fix that. They need to fix that. I was going to be so sad if I had to end stream without making this cute little outfit. I wanted to show the outfit to you guys. Let's go make it. And then we're going to put it on. And hopefully it's cute. Because if it's not cute, I'm going to be upset. It looks cute, but... I don't know. Okay. So we're gonna pop that away. And we're gonna go... and pop this on. Let's take the hat off. And put that on. Wait, she kind of cute. Wait, the shoes from the other outfit goes with it too. So I don't have the shoes or like the accessory thing, but I have the hair at the top and the skirt. And the shoes from the thing that we got for free, the foam flower skirt, actually go with it. It's cute. We won't be wearing it properly until like next season again, till the summer season again, because it's autumn tomorrow. But she cute. I do like the hair a lot, actually. This is what my hair is going to probably look like at some point when it starts to finally grow out, because it's not very long right now. I actually did look like this when I started streaming, actually, now that I think about it. This is basically what my hair looked like a year ago. Or more, actually. Maybe like 2. So we have a cute little outfit now. We have a cute little summer outfit. Let's save it. Let's see what it looks like in the real world. Okay, this is cute. This is super cute. Let's go say hi to Paul before we leave. I did say we would do that. I did say we would do that. I don't know if Jack's still here, but we're gonna go say hi because I haven't seen him in weeks. Where are you? I see him. I see him. Paul. Hello. Hi, friend. Nice. Oh, I missed you. He's so cute. I love him. We need to do animals so that we can get, like, a bunch of balls. Because how could you not just want a bunch of these guys? Look at those eyes. Look at these. Oh, I can't do that. You've got to be kidding. I can't take a picture while I'm on him. That's rude. That's just rude. But you know what? It's fine. Look, it's just me in my cute new outfit with Polly Alpaca. Like, life's great. What could be better? Okay, I'm gonna get off him for now. You stay there. I'll probably see you in the morning. I might not. We'll see him. But now that we've done the outfit, I am gonna skip a day because I want to see if Autumn does anything. So let's go to sleep. Please tell me it changes like the color of the trees or something. Please. Autumn day 1. Oh. Are you kidding? Look how cute this looks. This is so pretty. Stop. I truly thought that it just like wasn't going to change anything. Look how cute this is. Like the yellows and the orange like look to it. So cute. I'm obsessed. Oh, and I gotta leave it. We gotta leave it. Aw. I like the winter. We will get there. We will get there. I'll try not to do it on without like streaming. I'll try. I'll try not to. I promise. Ow, ow, ow. Please don't scream in my ear. Okay. I am gonna leave stream there because I do have stuff to do off stream. But I'm really happy I decided to leave this till we streamed because it was super fun. It was super fun. And we have a festival soon. So at the end, I think it's the end of autumn into the beginning of spring. We do have another festival. So I will show you guys. Hopefully I don't do it myself off stream. But if I can prevent myself from doing it off stream, we will try and do the first day of like winter together. And then we'll try and do the festival to some extent on stream, but it's a long, like 7-day thing. So we'll see. But I've been collecting materials off stream so that we can maybe try and decorate on stream at some point. So I'll continue doing that. Other than that, there is potentially a Paleo update soon. So if a Paleo update comes out before my next stream, which I'm not sure if it will, but it could, then we'll be playing that on Friday. Otherwise, you can assume we'll probably just be playing Starsand Island. But you can have a couple of game saves. You can? You can. I did not know that. I probably won't do that yet, though. I think I want to get through winter. I want to get to, like, the first day of winter and finish, like, the like, festival and stuff like that. And then I'll just, like, play the game as normal and on stream at the same time. But I don't want to do, like, first reactions without streaming because it's, like, really funny to, like, watch my reactions back. So I do try and save those for you guys. From what I've been told, you can have 3, but not 100%. I thought that you could, but then I was like, no, you can't. I think I was thinking about Amino or Animo, whatever it's called. I can't say the name properly. I don't know which one's correct. But like the new Pokemon type catching game that's coming out soon, that's in like testing right now. They, I think, were the ones that said you can only have 1 save right now. So I think it was them that said you can't have more than 1. And I took it in my mind as like it was this game. So I don't think it was this game. So once we've kind of gone through all the first time stuff, I'll probably make a separate file anyway But for now, I'll just like start collecting things so that we can build at some point because I think it'd be a really chill stream to just build. Even if it's not much, just like have a little look at stuff. So, but I will leave stream there and I will be live on Friday. There shouldn't be any reason why I'm not. But we will probably be playing Starsand Island. I'll update you guys if we're not, but you can assume we will be unless they do something to the game before then. But have a good rest of your day. Have a good day tomorrow, and I will see you on